Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here for this tribute to the life of Celestina Beatrice Luna. We lost her very tragically on May 26 due to a condition called arteriovenous malformation. She collapsed and fell into a coma, and we know she fought till the very end. To tell us more about Bea is my partner, Natasha Alcaraz. Tosh?
So, good afternoon, everyone, and a little bit about Bea Luna. So, Bea was born on July 29, 2004, in Baguio City. She's the oldest of three siblings. She studied at Baguio City High School. She started playing football in 2017. She played for numerous teams such as Forza, Cordillera, MFC, and Youth United. She played in many national tournaments and made it to the youth national team. She was part of the U16 national youth team that represented the Philippines in Thailand for the 2019 AFF campaign. She scored 2 goals in their 12-0 victory against Timor Leste. She scored the first goal and the last goal of that game. And of course, as you all know, during this time, we also have with us the teammates of Bea that want to share some light about Bea's life. So joining us, we have Raya Tolentino, Micaela Villasin or MJ, Chenny Danyoso, Cam Rodrigo, and Georgina L. So I will start off with Raya.
Uh, I only know Bea for a short period of time, but being with Bea for only 2 months, she gave me fun and great, one of the most fun and greatest memories that I will remember for my entire life. She was such a strong person in and off the field, and she never gave up and always faced her challenges with her head up high and with a smile. I think we can all agree that Bea was such a loving and caring person. She always put other people ahead before herself. She was never selfish and always looked out for everyone. She was there when you needed someone. Bea truly loved the people around her. I remember her crying to us one time because she really missed her family and friends in Baguio. You can really see how much she genuinely loved and cared for the people in her life. Bea always talked about how it was her dream to be in the national team. And I'm so grateful that I was able to be part of that dream and to see her accomplish her goal. I wish the last time saw her, I could have hugged her tighter and laughed with her harder. But I will cherish every moment that we share together. It will feel different knowing that she won't be in the pitch with us playing, but I know she fought till the very end, and I know she's in a happier place watching over us.
Thank you very much, Raya, for those wonderful words. Next up, we have MJ.
Hi. I think I just want to share one of the most um parang inspiring na memory na I have with Bea. During camp, last training before cutoffs, umiyak siya sa room, and then she was so scared kasi baka daw makat siya. And then we talked about it, and then nung last training before cutoffs, she gave her best. Like, grabe talaga yung pinakita niya. Tapos, hindi siya nakat, and then she was so happy. Pero she continued to work hard pa rin for the spot sa first 11. And then, I guess, sa I learned na Bea is really hardworking and very, very positive mag-think. And I think na it will be really different playing na wala siya, pero I think we can all say na we will be playing for her.
Okay, thank you very much, MJ. Next up, we also have another one of Bea's teammates, Chenny Danyoso.
Bea is a really good stud po. I remember the time nung pumunta ako sa Carmona, Cavite para sa training camp. Late yata ako mga ilang weeks or days. And si Bea talaga ang una nag-entertain sa akin. Gusto niya makisabay sa mga Bisaya kahit hindi siya nakakaintindi. Ang kulit pa nga niya eh. Na Nagtatanong siya kung ano Bisaya dito, anong Bisaya dyan. There was a time na sinabihan niya ako na punta daw ako ng Baguio at siya daw magiging tourist guide ko. I even promised her na pupunta ako sa Baguio. Sa mga times na pagod kami sa training, she never failed to motivate and cheer me up. Parating niyang sinasabi, "Go, Chen! Kaya mo yan." I didn't expect na mangyayari ito sa kanya. I know Bea is happy right now. No po.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chen, for those words and sharing that story and that side of Bea. Next up, we also have Cam Rodrigo that wants to share a few words about Bea.
So, nung una ko siya nakilala, akala ko like she would be like those other girls that would be hard to approach and hard to talk to. Pero hindi different siya. Siya yung tipo laging nandyan para sa'yo. Like, lagi siyang happy. Tapos, whatever made her problems, gagawa niya ng paraan as soon as possible. Kahit na-meet ko lang siya like siguro last year, tapos 2 to 3 months lang kami nagkasama, na-realize ko na solid talaga siya. Tapos, I knew na I never wanted to lose her. During camp, lagi ko siyang kasama. Tapos, when we were in Thailand, I will always knock on her door to check if she's doing okay or if she wants to hang around and do something. Bea is a strong person talaga. She always fights till the end, and I'm happy that I met her. I wish that I paid more attention to her, and I wish that all of this was just a dream. Pero what she wants for us now is to be stronger and cheerful.
Okay. Thank you very much, Cam. And lastly, the next teammate that we're going to call is Georgina Ele.
First day pa lang po ng tryout ng Philippine team. Siya na po talaga yung pinaka-close ko. And siya lang po yung lagi kong kabanding. And sobrang nakakadala po yung tawa niya. And nung sa camp po, siya po yung pinagtanungan ko kung tinext na po siya or ganun-ganon. And nung sa camp din po, siya po yung pinaka-close ko po talaga. And every time na tutulog po kami sa room, ayaw niya pong matulog ng mag-isa. Gusto niya po may katabi. So siya po lagi yung katabi ko. And pag maliligo din po, ayaw niya din po nag-iisa. Gusto niya din po may kasama. And ayaw niya din pong maiiwan. Lagi po siya nagpapaintay. And hindi ko po na-expect na mangyayari po yun sa kanya. Yan lang.
Okay, thank you very much. And of course, next up, we also have a special tribute prepared by MJ and Mika. So right now, we'll also be playing one of Bea's favorite songs.
The door, please come in and just sit here for a while. This is my way of telling you I need you in my life. It's so cold without your touch. I've been dreaming way too much. Can we just turn this into reality? 'Cause I've been thinking about you lately. Maybe you can save me from this crazy world we live in. And I know we could happen, 'cause you know that I've been feeling you.
And of course, with that, I'd like to thank all the girls for taking the time to share how much Bea has left an impact on each and every one of your lives. You guys may have lost a teammate, a friend, a sister, but rest assured, all of you just gained a new angel. So thank you, girls, for joining us for this. And next up, we all know that this is a difficult time for everyone. And we have a special guest, of course, now to help us navigate during these tough times. So I'd like to introduce Doc Marissa Ginto, the Associate Professor, Research Director, and Sports Psychologist of UP College of Human Kinetics. So, Doc Marissa, thank you for taking the time to join and be with us today. Doc Marissa, you're still on mute.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everyone. And it's my pleasure to really be with the team this afternoon. And hopefully, we can shed some light and understanding to the process that we are all going through. Yeah.
And so, Doc, in that line that you just mentioned, we understand, of course, that this is a very complex situation, of course, dealing with a pandemic and at the same time, the loss of a loved one without really being able to be around other people when it comes to coping. So, can you take us first through the grieving process?
Yeah. Well, of course, there is no one way to grieve, and there is no one way to go through this. And it's never identical for all of us. But some psychologists really researched on this, and they found out that there are some similarities on how people grieve. And I'd like to take all of us through that process, perhaps so that we can understand that what we're going through is very normal. First of all, our grieving process at this point is not the regular grieving process where we can all get together and really, strengthen each other through our physical presence, like we used to do when we have the wakes that we are used to. And all of these traditions are very helpful in strengthening each other. But during this time when we have physical distance, we cannot do what we were used to do. And therefore, we will have to contend with doing this, like grieving through Zoom meetings and remembering our experiences of Bea. So that in itself is very difficult. People, when they experience quarantine, it's also like losing a previous life. So in a way, we are all grieving something about how we used to live. Now, on top of all of this, we lose someone either through COVID or like what happened to Bea, and so this becomes even more challenging for all of us because we are not there physically to support each other. Okay, so let me just borrow a framework from Kubler-Ross who explained this process. Okay, so I will be sharing a material to you so we can look at it together. Okay. Okay, I think I don't have a share. I cannot share. Can someone help me? Okay.
I'm sorry, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Let me just share this so that I can explain to everyone where we are at this point. Okay. All right. So this is the grieving process. And although it is not linear and identical for everyone, more or less, we could be experiencing this range of emotions. So first of all, losing someone is an abnormal situation, meaning to say it is not every day that we lose a loved one. And our loss of Bea is really sudden, okay? And so normally there's really shock. She was very young. We didn't see it coming. She's strong physically and emotionally. How could this happen? So the beginning is there's normally a shock when we hear news about the death of a loved one. Okay. And so normally there's a mixture of denial. This is just a bad dream. Okay. In fact, a while ago when I was listening to the tributes, one of the teammates said that, oh, how I wish this was just a bad dream. And so in a normal wake, we it's almost like we're celebrating the life of a loved one whom we lost, and so we're not able yet to feel the loss. So in a way, there's a denial, or maybe what people would call a numbing of the emotion of loss, because we're all together, and that is so Pinoy, and that's really something beautiful about our culture, because even grief is very public. Now, the thing about being in quarantine is that public aspect of grieving is not there anymore. So we are really left with ourselves and our own emotions. And so um, after experiencing this short moment of shock and denial, we sometimes, fall into this emotion of anger. Anger is not bad. Anger is actually an anchor so that we can make sense of what's happening. So sometimes we feel like this is unfair. Why could it happen to someone who's so young? Why is life unfair? And before we know it, and again, this is normal, we could also get angry at God. If you are such a loving God, why will you allow something like this to happen to someone who's good? Okay, but then again, this is normal. No, we don't have to judge ourselves or each one if we feel this kind of an emotion. And then somewhere along the way, some of us will be going through what we call bargaining. Well, bargaining is something like you're negotiating with the pain, okay? Because it's really painful to lose someone. And after getting angry and figuring out that it's really hardly anyone's fault, you start to bargain that life will still be okay, even without um, this person that we lost. We can still play together, and we her memory will live on, and so we kind of bargain with the experience that it won't really be that painful, and she's not really lost. I mean, she's not really gone from our team. So there are all kinds of bargaining that can happen there. And then, of course, when reality hits and we know that her loss is permanent and we miss her so badly, and let's say we return to training and it just hits all of us, or maybe each one of us, that hey, it's not gonna be the same anymore. Her laughter, you know, her goals, her contribution to the team just hits her, all of us, and so we get into this very low point of what we call depression. But again, this is not permanent, and this is very, very normal for everyone who loses a loved one, a teammate, a very dear friend. And what gives us hope is the next stage will be acceptance. Once we realize that there's really impermanence in this life, that all of us will be going there anyway, some of us earlier, some of us later, we get to accept that perhaps Bea's life was meant to really be short, but meaningful. And so there's an acceptance. And we don't even stop there, and we begin to realize, maybe much later on, that she was sent to us to touch our lives and to make us feel that life is very, very important. We can never take it for granted because we'll never know how long we have each other. And therefore, we move towards what we call meaning in life, that there is a meaning to life and death and even losses. And so this process allows us to identify where we are at the moment, and we could all be at different stages, and it's okay. Neither is this process a linear process that, for example, once we're in acceptance, we'll never feel depression again for the loss of Bea. No, sometimes when we're already in acceptance and then we hear her favorite song, or perhaps we see a video clip of her, we will feel sad again, and that's okay. So what can this teach us? It's really more like allowing us to accept that we will go through this range of emotions, and it is very normal. We don't have to feel bad about it, and we don't have to feel terrible that we are going through this process. Okay, so let me just pause that so that, perhaps if you have some insights or thoughts that you would like to share. Yeah.
Belay?
Um, no, I completely agree. And earlier when we were talking to Doc Marises, we were talking about the main message here, and I wanted to bring it out, that we want to destigmatize these mental health issues and this grieving process. Sometimes we tend to feel maybe that we're alone in feeling this, and what the message is really now is that we want to give everyone a safe space to grieve and together find a way as a community to do it. I think this is the main objective of what we're doing this afternoon.
Yes, that's very important, Bella. We need to grieve together, and while it feels that we are isolated because we cannot be physically together in a wake and meet for team practices, we need to connect. That's very, very important. I remember when I was working with the UP men's and women's team, and I shared this with Bella earlier, that I was their sports psychologist when they lost Roji, who is a teammate of the UP men's team right before the season started. And that was really painful, because he was really a valued member of the team, and it was so sudden when we found out that he was stricken with cancer. And every day, the teammates would rotate on who would stay with him in the hospital. So that was very intense. And suddenly he was gone a few days before the UAAP season began. And while that was extremely painful for everyone, it also became the rallying point for everyone to go beyond their pain. And that was the first time in the history, of course, of the UP where the men's and women's football team won the championship. And they all agreed that they will be playing for Raji at that point in time. And every game, they would imagine him sitting and watching them. That was their process. And as their sports psychologist at that point, it was really just helping them through that, and assuring them that it was normal to feel sad every time they would have training and they would miss Raji, and that when they would play, the intensity of the loss was felt. It was okay. So for the team now, it would really help all of us if we can accept that it's normal to miss Bea, and there's nothing wrong if we have all kinds of emotions that we don't understand at the moment.
And Doc Maris, as you were talking about that, what do you suggest or what can you recommend as well for all the people that are actually grieving at the moment?
Yes, of course, we need to take care of ourselves. No, I'd like to share with you maybe a slide that I share also with other groups who are going through the same thing. So let me put that up so I can easily share it with you. Okay. Okay, so I just tried to summarize here the different forms of self-care. And the very first one that I'd like to share with you is social connection. No? Grieving doesn't have to be done alone. In fact, this this initiative that you had is actually very good because it affirms that you are connected to each other. And this is very important through the whole months that will follow. And I hope that you will continue meeting and sharing your feelings and experiences with each other. And so this one is very important. Now, stay connected with each other. And then set a daily routine. No? Don't just allow the day to while away without planning anything. In fact, the day before, you should actually follow the routine that you've been doing, before Bea passed away, So if you wake up and you have your own exercise or physical activity, go about it. If you're still doing some online classes with your schools, do it. If you have chores at home, do it. Okay, so don't just do nothing, because that's going to really, be the setup for you to feel terrible. And so connected to that is physical activity. Even if you don't feel like doing anything because you feel terrible, that's exactly what you should do. The reverse, do something, even if it's just walking or climbing up and down the staircase if you're not allowed to go out of your house. Just move, because it has been shown also that physical activity is one of the correlates of happiness and of getting out of depression. And then, of course, stay mentally active. All right. Not active, meaning to say scrolling in the social media or watching Netflix. That's kind of passive, actually. So when you say mental activity, learning something new, getting your mind challenged, either with reading or learning a new skill. Not necessarily your sport. Can be, for example, you take an online class, or maybe read a book that you've always researched for the time that you won't be so busy. This is the time to do it. And then, of course, to limit or regulate our use of social media, especially news about COVID and maybe about the death of Bea, because these things can trigger a lot of negative thoughts and feelings. So while you are staying connected with each other through your phone and through your social media accounts, be very intentional that you use it for social connection, not so much about getting all of this news about COVID, which I think we have enough of, or news about Bea's passing away, which perhaps could be released by Rappler, ABS-CBN, etc. Okay, let them just do that for the public consumption, but maybe not so much for the team or the family or friends. And then I noted here that we need to exercise self-compassion. What does this mean? If we can be compassionate to other people who are having a hard time, we need to do this for ourselves now. We need to be kind. If we're not in always a good mood, or we don't feel upbeat about doing things, we just have to be kind to ourselves, especially because we are grieving. We need to have that space for us not to be the perfect, strong athlete that we are, or teammate. It's okay if sometimes we need to break down, or sometimes we are just numb, or we're staring blank. Of course, we try to get ourselves out of it, but if we don't succeed, we need to exercise compassion to ourselves. And then we cannot, of course, remove the advantage of sense of humor. We Pinoys are very good at this now, and we cannot trivialize this. We don't have to joke about the situation, but learning to laugh. Maybe if you're going to watch Netflix, it would be good to watch comedy and funny films, because humor has been found also to be very, very, it has a healing property that can really help us take care of ourselves. And then gratitude, learning how to be thankful for many things in our lives, not only for having known Bea, but also being able to play the sport together, maybe having a family, being able to eat every day, learning how to look for things to be grateful for is actually the antidote also to sadness and depression. So if you can only count, let's say, even 3 things that I can be thankful for at the end of the day, then it will already help me rest and even have a good sleep at night. And then finally, is spirituality, which can really be your own life of prayer. It can be very, very private. It doesn't have to involve all of these religious rituals. This is a private relationship that you have with God that you can nurture at this point. You don't have to be the religious type that you probably are not, but you can certainly connect and cultivate your prayer life, because we have a God, of course, who has now welcomed Bea in his arms, and he is the author of our lives. He knew very well the perfect time that Bea will be born in this earth and will be known to us as a teammate, and he knew also the perfect time to bring her back home to himself. So these are just a few of the self-care strategies that we can intentionally pursue as we are grieving, because we cannot expect others to make things easier for us. We have to take it upon ourselves. And if we do this, we can also be sensitive to others as well, because we can take care of each other. Basta we take care of ourselves also. So self-care is not being selfish. It is not me first, but me too. All right. So if you like to take care of each other, taking care of yourself is not a selfish process. We can all do this all together as a team and remind each other when we are very sad that we need to take care of ourselves. Okay.
Dr. Marissa, I'd just like to say that it's very insightful, especially that whole process when it comes to self-care and how important it is to take care of yourself. Because when you take care of yourself, as you said, it's also a bit easier for you to help take care of other people as well. Um, Especially that you were talking about earlier, that when it comes to grieving and people dealing with grief, everyone has a different process, a thought process, a different way of handling it. If the girls would personally like to get in contact with you, whether it's individually or as a group, how can they get in touch with you?
Yes, of course. First of all, I'm going to leave my email address with the two of you, and you can share this with the team. I can also be reached through personal message in Messenger. I'm also part of the UP Psych Serve. We are a network of psychologists who have volunteered during this COVID season, precisely to help and to provide access to mental health services during these difficult times. So we are about 100 psychologists that banded together, and a lot of people have signed up to our Facebook account for sessions, for all kinds of mental health issues during this COVID time. And so this is very good because people now um, don't feel stigmatized to approach a mental health provider or as a psychologist. So we have more than 1,500 clients now who have approached us. So we can also provide that facility for everyone to sign up. Or if you really want to do this together, we can definitely schedule an individual or a team session for us to manage our grief together. That's doable. Yes, certainly.
Thank you, Doc Marissa. And of course, it's really um, overwhelming and I guess very good to know that there are people out there that we can reach out to, that no one is alone during this process, and that if you need help, all you have to do is ask. There are people here who are willing to lend out that helping hand, as we said, as Doc Marissa is with us today. Doc, we'd also just like to ask you as well to share with us your parting words that you'd want to leave with our community.
Yes. Um, First of all, the COVID pandemic is an abnormal situation. Therefore, all of these feelings that we have um, that appear abnormal become normal in an abnormal situation. Now, for the team and for the family of Bea, this becomes even more complex because we are grieving on top of experiencing this COVID, which makes it harder because we cannot be together to grieve and have a real wake as we are used to. So I would just like everyone to acknowledge that all of these things are normal. We don't have to be ashamed and we don't have to judge ourselves or each other for having all these feelings that may not appear productive or functional. It's okay to not be okay, and that we can, first of all, we can find the strength together with each other, and that there is nothing wrong if we need to reach out to a mental health professional like me and my colleagues. Certainly, at this point in time where people have become more open to mental health issues, this is the right time for us to go out and ask help. So I would just like to provide that lifeline to everyone, that if there's anything I can do for you and your team or the psych serve, then please let me know.
All right. Thank you, Doc Marissa. And of course, thank you for the time that you've taken with us today, not only for being there, but also being that light and showing compassion, that sense of support, and how important it is to have that sense of community and knowing that, as we said earlier, that no one is ever alone, most especially in dark times. So thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate what you have shared with us. Thank you. And next up as well, for everyone as well who is at home, for those who really want to help out, for those who want to help in terms of with what Bea went through, Pinay Football is actually going through doing a fundraiser right now for Bea. And I turn it over to Belay to give us the specifics of how each and every one of us from our homes can help out.
Okay, so to commemorate Bea as a member of our youth national team, Pinay Football decided to come up with a memorial jersey fundraiser for Bea. So each jersey will bear the name and the number of Bea, and they're all gonna come in blue. The size chart is over on the right. We'll be posting this graphic on the Pinay Football Facebook page. Basically, this is just the Pinay football community and the women's footballing community, our way to help Bea's family with hospital expenses. And if you would like to place an order via SMS only, please message me. My number will be flashed up on the graphic. And thank you in advance for helping support us and remembering Bea in this way.
And of course, so as we said, there are different ways to process and to help through this. We'll also be sharing later on Pinay Football the email address and the contacts for Doc Marissa. And moving on as well, we also have a few words as well that we'd want to read out from other players and other people who wanted to share some light with regards to Bea. So I'll go ahead first and share one of the things written by Megan. So Bea was one of the first persons that I got to talk to in camp. And sobrang grateful ako na nakilala ko siya because she's a very strong, caring, sweet, and generous person. Si Bea ay isang napakabait na tao na may mahabang pasensya. Bea was a person who faced her challenges and problems in life with a smile. She's the type of person na lumalaban talaga at hindi sumusuko. Bea was a very hard-working player sa pitch who gave her all sa mga games. Matagal ko na talagang nilook forward na makita ko siya ever since natapos yung camp, but I was too late. I just want to say thank you to Bea for making me a part of her life and for teaching me how to be strong in facing problems in life, just like how she did. Thank you for fighting, Bea. May you rest in peace until we meet again.
I just want to share something from Bianca. For those of us who know Bianca, it's like she doesn't express this way very often. So I just wanted to share a very real sharing from one of her teammates. I hope I do this justice. Hi, Bea. First of all, thankful ako na nakilala kita. Kung nasaan ka man ngayon, I know you're safe and happy. And I still can't believe it na wala ka na. And sobrang sakit mawalan ng kaibigan at teammate. Si Bea, siya yung tipong kaibigan na nandyan para sa'yo. Yung tipong may problema ka, pwede mo siyang mapagsabihan, tapos papangitiin ka niya. Tapos kung makita ka niyang masaya, okay na siya. And masaya na din siya. Yung hindi ko makakalimutan yung sa Viewport, doon sa may swing. So this is during camp. Noon kasi kami tumatambay. Kasama ko yung ibang Bisaya and sasama siya sa amin. Kasi gusto talaga niyang matutong magsalita ng Bisaya. Tapos kung magsasalita kami ng Bisaya, maiinis siya kasi hindi niya maintindihan. Hahampasin niya ako tapos sasabihin niya ako na translate mo. And ita-translate ko sa kanya. Nakakamiss lang talaga. And si Bea bilang teammate, siya yung hindi sumusuko. Tapos sa training, yung pagod na kayo, tapos siya yung nakangiti pa din. Ngingitian ka niya, tapos itatap niya yung back. Parang nagsasabi siya ng okay lang yan, kaya mo yan, parang ganon. And makikita mo talaga sa kanya, like what I said, hindi siya susuko. Kasi pag magkamali siya, i-correct niya yun hanggang sa makukuha niya. Ganyan si Bea. And Bea, don't worry, hindi kita kakalimutan. I promise. And I miss you na. So see you soon when I see you. Bea.
One of the things that were written as well in one of the comments regarding Bea was that, Bea, you were given only almost 16 years on earth. Bea, but you were able to maximize and make life magnanimous and meaningful. An exemplary model to our youth. Sobrang nakakapanghinayang ang pagkawala mo, but God has other plans for you. Dalai, would there be anything else that you'd like to share?
Bea passed away on Tuesday, and when she was in her coma, we had already planned to say the rosary together as a community of players, coaches, and family. So when we did this rosary, after that, we kind of gave the girls a space to grieve together with her coaches. And we realized later on that her grandfather, her lolo, was part of the call. And he really thanked us a lot for all the sharing and for the prayers. And he just told us that football not only gave Bea so much, it also gave their family so much as well, as this was evident that they would really be supportive of her and bring her to camp and watch her training and watch her games. And just there. And football led us to meeting Bea and her family. And I think it's giving us so much and keeping us together despite everything. So yeah, we are very grateful to Bea for showing us and teaching us these lessons right now.
And of course, we also really just wanted to use this opportunity to celebrate Bea's life. She had a very short life, but we were very grateful for the time that we had Bea, most especially in this community, for all the love and of course that impact that she left with each and every one of us. You could see it was very evident with the girls and how much they shared of how much Bea meant to them and how much love, joy, and passion she brought to each and every one of their lives. Dalai.
So again, thank you for Bea's teammates that helped us get this tribute together by sharing here live, by sharing and sending us messages. And thank you to Bea's family, especially her lolo and her mom, for giving us permission to prepare this tribute and for us to have the memorial jersey for Bea. And especially thank you to Dr. Ginto for being here today and helping us navigate through this. It just really makes you realize how lucky we are to have this community to help us get through this grieving process and to come out stronger as Bea would have wanted us to. I think she's almost like tapping all of us in the back to say, hey, it's okay. Be together and get through this together. So thank you everyone for joining us. We are really grateful for this opportunity to celebrate Bea's life in some way. And we hope that you found meaning in whatever we were able to share and her teammates were able to share today. And thank you for the support you will give in raising funds as well. So that's it. Sorry, it's really hard to find the words right now. Just thank you, and we are very blessed to have known Bea.